What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and yes, we are back with another video. You guys know it's Thursday, and you know what goes down on Thursday? The Hot 10 Comics of the Week, the breakdown. I go through the 10 hottest comics on the Key Collector app, and I break them down one by one, letting you guys know if I'm a buyer here at these prices, or if I'd be staying away, or possibly even selling. Before I jump into that list, I want to remind you guys, if you guys have not checked out my latest video, my CGC unboxing, make sure to do so. There's some awesome stuff that came back from CGC. One of those books are even for sale. With that said, we're going to jump right in here at number 10. It is a copy of Doctor Strange number 169, the first Doctor Strange in his own solo title, and this book has been all over the list for the past couple of months. It has been really hot, and I will say this, a CGC 6.5 recently sold last week for $620, up only 1% since February. This book also retells the origin of Doctor Strange. Now, I've said in the past couple of months that I would be a buyer of this book, but it is starting to slow down a bit, so you guys have to be careful. I'm a buyer of this book at a 6.0 or higher, one of my favorite Silver Age covers. Am I still a buyer here at these prices? Yes, I am, but you guys have to be careful. Try to get this one under fair market value now that it starts to slow down. Don't be jumping at the first issue that you see online, all right? At number 9 this week is a copy of Fantastic Four. Number 8, the first appearance of the Puppet Master and Alicia Masters. Anything Fantastic Four right now has been super hot over the last year or so, ever since we got the announcement that the Fantastic Four are coming to the MCU. And a CGC 3.5 recently sold last week for $700, up 15% since January. Am I a buyer of a lot of the major Fantastic Four keys? Yes, but I gotta be honest, I am not too hyped up about the Puppet Master or Alicia Masters. $700 is a lot of money to spend on the lower end grading wise of this book. To me, I'm not a buyer of this book. I know a lot of FF fans out there are. To me, I'd be staying away. You might get a big pop if the Puppet Master does show up in a future MCU movie, and that might happen to me. I'm just not interested in this character for me to own it. So it's a no on this one, guys. At number 8 this week is a copy of Strange Tales number 126, the first appearance of Dormammu, but also the first appearance of Clea, and that's why this book has been on and off the list for the past couple of months. This book really got hot early on when Dormammu appeared in the first Doctor Strange movie. Now there's a big rumor that Clea is going to appear in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and a 5.5 CGC graded book just sold for $600, up 5% since January. So like I said, this book has been on and off the list for the past couple of months. To me, I am not a buyer of this book. You had your chance to buy this book after it kind of went down after the first Doctor Strange movie. Now all of a sudden it's hot again. To me, I just think the same thing's going to happen. It's going to go right back down once that movie comes out. So I'm staying away. Once it goes back down, if you want to pop on it then, be my guest. At number 7 this week is a book that hasn't been on the list before, but it's a book I have been kept my eye on for quite a while. It is a copy of Hero for Hire number 1, the first appearance of Luke Cage, and a CGC 4.5. Recently sold last week for $400, up 7% since January. Now, a lot of people out there have poo-pooed this cover. Not one of the greatest covered. It is a Bronze Age key, but I will say this book took a big hit when that Luke Cage series on Netflix kind of aired. A lot of people weren't that big a fan of it, like me. Regardless, eventually I do think we will see Luke Cage in a future Disney Plus show. Don't think he's going to show up in an MCU movie. He might have a cameo here or there. Regardless, I am 100% a buyer of this book at this price. For $400 to get a nice mid-grade book, I am all over this one because I know the MCU are going to do Luke Cage the right way once he shows up. So yes, it's 100% a buy. At number 6 this week is a copy of Savage Tales magazine number 1, the first appearance of the Man-Thing. Now this is a book I don't think I've ever seen on this list before. There's a rumor out there there have been several Easter eggs showing the Man-Thing in some of the movies that the MCU have done. Thor Ragnarok, the Loki series, and of course WandaVision. I gotta go out and check out what these Easter eggs are for the Man-Thing. Regardless, a CGC 8.0 recently sold last week for $1,200, up 20% since last June. Again, this is a super hard book to find right now, guys. I've been searching on eBay just to see how available this book is, and there were only a couple of copies the last time I checked out. So if you could find this book, and this is a nice high-grade book for $1,200 and CGC 8.0, I'd be all over it, because there are not a lot out there. I do eventually think Man-Thing will show up on something. I don't know how far down the line. It might not be for a really long time. Regardless, it is a cool first appearance to own, and the scarcity of it makes it very collectible. So yes, I am 100% a buyer. At number 5 this week is a copy of Daredevil number 131, the first appearance of Bullseye. And this book also has been on the list over the past couple of months, on and off. A CGC 9.0. Recently sold last week for $995, up 11% since December. Again, another book that I've been talking about over the past couple of months was on my undervalued comics that I'd still buy. I want to own this book in high grade, 8.0 or higher. So definitely 9.0, almost $1,000. It's getting to the point where it's getting a little high for my price. Again, I'd like to get an 8.0. I think an 8.0 is a little bit more affordable, but the higher grade you buy, the better off your investment's going to be. To me, yes, I'm still a buyer of these books, but you got to be careful of what you're paying for these grades. Make sure it is under fair market value. I want to own this book for when Bullseye appears in the MCU, and I think he will show up sooner rather than later now that we have Matt Murdock and Daredevil in the MCU. At number 4 on the list is one of my all-time favorite covers, Batman number 227, an awesome classic Detective Comics 31 throwback homage by Neil Adams. And the fact that this book is black makes me love it even more. A CGC 4.0. Recently sold last week for $500, up 3% since September. I actually own a 5.0 copy of this book signed by the man Neil Adams himself. I definitely want to own this book, and it's still very affordable in mid to high grade. 100% a buyer no matter what on this book. Again, I don't think we're going to get giant pops on this book. It's a classic cover. The storyline, I think leaves something to be desired, but other than that, it is a collectible book, and I am a buyer at these prices. At number 3 this week is a copy of Uncanny XMen number 3, the first appearance of the Blob. And I can't understand why people are going crazy over this book. CGC 4.5. Recently sold last week for $1,006, up 12% since January. I know all Silver Age early X-Men books are really hot right now, and maybe some people out there love the Blob as a character. I'm just not into it. That is a lot of money to spend for, to me, a secondary character. I know it's a mid-grade book. Regardless, I'm not spending anywhere near that price for a copy of this book. If you guys are super-duper X-Men fans and you think the Blob is coming and he's going to be a major character, then by all means, go throw $1,000 at this book. To me, I'd rather take that $1,000 and put it towards a character that I believe in. So no, I'm definitely not a buyer. At number 2 this week is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 10, the first appearance of the Enforcers. Now, while I love Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man books, I think this book is a little pricey. A CGC 6.5. Recently sold last week for $1,125, up 18% since February. I was able to pick up my copy of this book for around $300. Granted, my copy was a lot lower grade. I'm not spending $1,100 on a first appearance of the Enforcers. I wanted to own this book because it was an early Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man key. That's why I wanted to buy it. I'm not buying it for the first appearance of the Enforcers. However, if you believe in that group and you want to spend that money, go right ahead. To me, I am not a buyer at this price. I will buy it at a lower grade for a lower price just to have in my ASM run. And at the top spot is a book I am shocked that's at the number 1 spot, because we haven't seen this book on the list at all since the whole time I've been doing this. And it is a copy of Tales to Astonish number 100, a classic Hulk and Submariner Namor battle. Not too sure why this book is on this list, and all of a sudden it's at the top spot. Maybe because the Submariner is supposed to be coming in Black Panther 2. Are we going to get a Hulk Submariner fight? I have no idea. Regardless, a CGC 7.5 sold last week for only $163, up 25% since January. You know what? If you want to spend $163 on a 7.5 copy of this book, who am I to stop you? That actually is a really cheap price for a very fine copy of this classic battle. Go ahead, pick it up. If something happens and this actually does come to fruition in a movie, it will go up. So I think it's cheap enough where I'm going to give it a thumbs up. With that said, guys, that is the list for this week. I'm going to give you now my best buy from this Hot 10 list. It is going to be, I think, Hero for Hire #1, the first appearance of Luke Cage. That to me, that book is still cheap enough, and I do think we're going to see Luke Cage eventually in the MCU. I want to own this book in a mid to higher grade if I can. It is definitely undervalued and a book I definitely want to own. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed another week, another list. I have one thing to say. If you are not a current subscriber of the channel, guys, and you've been enjoying my content, I want you to go ahead and click that subscribe button for me, smash that like button, of course, and turn on that notification bell. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Stay mighty, and I'll talk to you guys soon.